I want you to look in your pocket, or your wallet and purse, and if you find a $1 bill, I want you to take it out and hold on to it. All right, now pass it up to the stage. That's my speaking fee. I'm just kidding. I'll tell you why I need it in a minute. When my South Carolina group toured the US Capitol, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers at Arlington Cemetery, I was in awe of these impressive structures. However, I noticed something small and seemingly insignificant. I saw it first at the National Archives. It was present at the World War II Memorial. It was even at the Capitol building. What did I see? 3 words: E pluribus unum. I didn't know what it meant, but I became curious because I kept seeing it. When I looked up the meaning of this Latin phrase, I discovered that it meant out of many, one. It got me thinking of our trip to Washington, D.C. The very first time I met the 3 other students selected to go from my local co-op, Palmetto Electric Cooperative, there were some polite smiles, but mostly awkward silence. Now, I'm sure y'all had that same experience when you met someone new. I know that my fellow Youth Leadership Council members felt the same way when they met other students from their states. But in the 6 days we spent together, sharing experiences, we became so close, it's like we always knew each other. Out of many individuals, we became one close group. A total of 48 students from the great state of South Carolina were selected to travel to Washington, D.C. in June. When we all met for the first time in the airport, it was awkward. We were all strangers. We were all from our own individual worlds. Through the course of the week, the boat tour on the Potomac River especially, and the tours of D.C., we became a family. One giant, dysfunctional family, but a family nonetheless. E pluribus unum. 235 years ago, our founding fathers knew of the importance of this power of diversity and the strength that it creates. Our founders knew that people from different backgrounds, races, religions, political backgrounds, and upbringing would form together to create a better and stronger country to live in. E pluribus unum can be found all over Washington, D.C., and even in your pocket. In the journals of the Continental Congress, dating back to 1782, you'll find this phrase. On the Statue of Freedom, atop the US Capitol, you'll find this phrase. You'll also find it on the Great Seal of the United States of America. In the rotunda of the Capitol, in the painting of the Apotheosis of Washington, located on the ceiling, you will find this phrase. And on every coin ever produced by the United States Mint, dating back to 1786, you'll also find this phrase. Even the formation of electric cooperatives is based upon the ideas of E pluribus unum. Electric cooperatives were created to serve rural consumers when private, for-profit companies wouldn't. Co-ops were formed to serve the needs of many. The same spirit of E pluribus unum is why you are gathered in this hall today, and when you represent your members in your boardrooms back home. Since its inception in 1942, NRECA has been a unifying force for America's electric cooperatives. Individual member owners rally around our core principles and understand that it is the collection of individual voices in our legislative matters by joining the Our Energy, Our Future grassroots program that gives us our political strength. Now getting back to my story. By the time our plane landed back in South Carolina, many of us were in tears. A group of strangers meeting only 6 days before were now transformed into one strong, united youth tour family bound together by our individual electric cooperatives. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Each of the YLC members you saw on stage today were chosen at their youth tours by their state's electric cooperatives delegation. Where we once stood as strangers, we now stand in front of you as one. One group representing each state, comprising of one great nation and the next generation of electric cooperative leaders. So you remember that dollar bill I asked you to take out? Flip it over to the back. Look on the right side and you will see an eagle. Inside that eagle's mouth is a scroll. Written on that scroll are the words E pluribus unum. From this day forward, I ask that every time you have a dollar bill in your hand, I want you to think of the greatness of our respective states and the greatness of our nation that is built upon these words and ideals of our founding fathers. Our greatness, our strength, comes from our diversity. I would like to thank my local co-op, Palmetto Electric Cooperative, especially Ms. Kristen Keller and our CEO, Mr. Tom Upshaw, for allowing me to go on this trip of a lifetime. Next, I'd like to thank the electric cooperatives of South Carolina, including Mr. Van O'Kane, for bringing us all together from the great state of South Carolina for a fun and truly inspiring trip. I'd also like to thank Mr. Glenn English for transforming the students from across our country for the past 19 years, which is longer than I've been alive. Thank you, Mr. English, for your leadership at the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. And by the way, you're gonna love South Carolina. If you're ever in Bluffton, look me up. Lastly, I want to thank our founding fathers for their wisdom. Out of many, we are one. Thank you so very much, and may God bless our one America.